Hi, I'm Mindy, the natural dyer at Henlia Handmade. Welcome to our little knitting chair chat. I finished my second Weekender Light sweater in this lovely heathered pink color, and I'm very happy so far with the length of my sleeves. And yeah, I'm excited that it's cool enough today to be able to wear it and show it off. So today I am talking about my 4 all-time favorite knitting accessories and tools. I hope you enjoy it. So, okay, now we're all knitters here. At least I'm assuming that we're all knitters. I'm assuming that you're watching because you're a knitter. So I don't think I need to elaborate much on our love of yarn and our yarn stashes. But I thought it would be fun to share with you my current absolute favorite accessories that I use either daily with my knitting or with basically almost every project that I knit. So the first one is a new acquisition. This is my Loomis and Loomis. Have you seen these? This is my most recent discovery. And now that I have it, I am not sure how I ever knitted at night without it. Perhaps due to my aging eyes. But knitting in the evenings has become a lot more difficult in the last 6 months or so. So along with my reading glasses, my Lumos and Lumos is my new best knitting friend. Looks a little strange at first, but it's a simple product, and I bet you can guess what it does. Yes, it is a light. Actually, it is 2 small lights. They're little LED lights, and they're on either side of this flexible tube. Oops, got stuck in my hair there. And you just wrap it around your neck like this and click the small buttons. There's a button on each side, and you position them so that the light is directed at your knitting. So for me, it's something like this. And then, I knit like this, and I just direct the light right at my stitches. There are 3 different light options. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick this up or not, but there's 3 different brightnesses and warmth too. So this is sort of a blend of the classic bluish LED light with a warm light. And you can also just have it on the warm light. Maybe I should move it closer. And then there's just the LED. I find myself defaulting to just the LED, so it's like the final click. And that seems to be best for my eyes, at least in the evenings. So I'm telling you the absolute truth when I say that I use this every evening while I knit. I've just started on another fingering weight sweater, and the yarn is a deep indigo color. Not quite like knitting with black yarn, but pretty close. And these lights have made my dark stitches so much easier to see. And that's true even before the sun completely sets. So kind of in that sunset stage when it's starting to get darker, I just whip this out, and it's perfect. It works really, really well. An extra bonus to this knitting accessory is that it isn't exclusively only for knitting. I also use it for reading at night. So, and I love it when products have multiple uses. After I put my knitting away at night, a typical evening routine for me is to climb into bed with a book and read a few pages before I drift off to sleep. And so I bring this to bed with me too. It's especially handy when my husband wants to turn the light out before I do. But yeah, it's perfect, especially on the lowest setting. I don't feel too guilty about keeping a light on and disturbing my husband in bed. So I love this thing. I love this thing. I love this thing. It comes with, so it's LED lights, like I mentioned, and it comes with a USB charging cord. It does not come with a plug to put the cord, the USB port into. So if you already have, I think most people will have one of those plugs lying around. I've picked up a couple that have two on them, and or you can just plug it into your computer. But there's no batteries to change, which is really great, and you only need to charge it up every once in a while. I would say maybe I've had this for about 3 months now, and besides the initial charge, I've only recharged it once, and I use this every night. So I would guess, maybe you'll need to charge it monthly. Maybe more often in the winter when there's less light, but yeah, I've been really happy with it so far. So as I mentioned, this little guy, oh, actually, I don't think I did mention it. I picked this up at my local yarn shop, Wooltown Bend. If you happen to be in Central Oregon, visiting or living, Wooltown Bend has them in stock, or at least she did a couple months ago. And it's $49, which was a bit surprising. I was expecting something more in the $30 to $35 range. But I'd say it's totally worth it. It has been for me, certainly, because I use it every single day, multiple times. So I don't know. You may be able to find a better deal online. I'm not sure. But of course, I always recommend checking your local yarn shop first, because we love to support them, right? Lumos and Lumos. And I'm not sure how they must have gotten the rights somehow to borrow that Harry Potter phrase, because there's even on the package, there's even a quote from Dumbledore on it. So I guess it's a licensed product, I guess is what you would call that. I'm just going to set it over here. I'm also going to get a sip of water, excuse me. It was really warm this weekend, and I tried to drink a lot of water, but I feel like I'm still a little dehydrated. So, okay, so let's talk about my next favorite knitting tool. And it's not in here. Okay, no problem. I just so happen to have my latest cast on handy, and I'm using this product on it, with it. Well, it's on it. My number 2 can't live without knitting tool is my row counter. You'll see that it has a little ring with a number 1 and then another ring and a number 2. It goes all the way to 0. And I've shared these with the Henlia Handmade community at least once or twice. It's another knitting tool that I didn't realize that I needed until I actually had it. It is called a row counter because, as the name implies, it helps you keep track of your rows. So there are many versions of row counters out there. There's like the little clicking ones. There's the ones that go, there's like a ring that you can wear or on your finger or your thumb maybe. There's the old school kind. Do you remember those kind that slide onto your long straight needles and they turn? That was like, oh man, that just brought back so many memories of knitting as a kid with my grandma. Oh, grandma. Okay, so the row counter though. Oops. This one comes from a fellow handmade shop called Twice Sheared Sheep. And in addition to being a super nice, generous human being, Dawn, she has video tutorials on how to use these. So you can use them, which is probably better than me trying to explain. I'll give you a brief overview in a second, but she gives very, very clear video tutorials. So I'll link her shop, of course, down below where you can see her videos to see how she explains how you can use it. You can use it for both knitting and crochet, which is really great. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview. Basically, you slide the ring over your knitting needle like you would for like a stitch marker. And the difference, of course, is that you have a bunch of rings strung together with a number in between. Well, the number is going to indicate which row you are on or which row you've just completed, depending on your preference. And then each time you make your way around or across, because you can also use these knitting back and forth, you just slide your needle into the next loop to indicate that you're on the next row. So, or that you finished the previous row, or you finished that row. So you always know where you're at in your pattern. It's simple and ingenious, and I have several of them. I purchased my first one 3 years ago, and between accidentally dropping one down the slats on my deck, never to be found again, which was really sad, I've purchased quite a few of these now. I've even given one as a gift to a fellow knitter. I hope, Mom, that you have figured out how to use it and enjoy it. And I keep several. So they do come in different sized rings. So you can get, this is the smaller version. And then there's also a larger ringed version. So if you know that you only knit on larger needles, you might want to get the larger set, but the larger rings. I have both, and I use them both for many different sizes. So they're very flexible. You can use them for all sorts of different sized needles, even within the small or the large rings. So, and Dawn has it clearly indicated in her shop which size is appropriate for each of the needle sizes and hook sizes. So yeah, I have a small collection of these now between my various whips and works in progress, and just having a spare one on hand, spare one or two on hand to make sure that I have one handy for any sort of cast-on projects that might strike my fancy. The great thing is that you can set a project down for days, weeks, months, years, and pick it back up and say, oh, look at this. I know exactly what row I'm on in my pattern. So, super, super handy. Like I said, I don't know how I knitted without these. Yeah, they've become a little bit of an obsession for me. I can't speak to other brands. There are other brands out there. I've only used Dawn's, but they come with these adorable little charms. This one is a sheep, and I have a bee one. I have little dragon skin. I think I have a couple of the dragon skin ones. I have a little looks like a sweater on knitting needles. Yeah, so they're really cute, and I haven't had any of them ever fall apart. Of course, the only one that I've lost was the one that I lost by dropping it through the slats in my deck. I can't get under my house in that spot. So, yeah, but they're really great. I really love them. She also has matching stitch markers too, so you can buy little kits if you're interested in that. But for just the row counter, they usually run, it looks like, between $21 and $25 a piece. She offers free shipping once you've met a minimum order. I think it's $35. So if you like what you see and you think you need a couple, it's probably smart to just grab a couple. Otherwise, I recommend grabbing one and seeing if you love it as much as I do, put it to use as much as I do. So I'm not an affiliate. I just realized I probably sound maybe like I'm an affiliate. I'm not. Dawn is a friend. Okay, I will openly admit that Dawn is a friend. But I really love the product that she makes, and she's a really, really great human being as well. So I do recommend them. Okay, I think I've said enough on that. My third can't live without knitting tool are my Knit Keeper cords. This is what the tin looks like. It's another really simple knitting tool. I'll just show you. It's nice because this one comes in a nice little screw top metal lid. It's this pretty fine gauge silicone cord. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. It's hollow in the center. So, how you use it, let me just show you. You slip the tip of your needle, I should do it closer to the camera, slip the tip of your needle into the tube, and then you can very easily just slide your stitches off your needle onto the cord. It's a little bit harder to do with a small, I've got a million stitch markers on this at the moment, so I kind of get caught up a little bit, but you just slip your stitches over your needle onto the cord, and it will hold your stitches for you. Now, there are at least a couple uses for this, right? You can use it purely as a stitch holder. So let's say you're knitting a top-down sweater. The instructions say to slide the sleeve stitches onto scrap yarn or a stitch holder. This, you could absolutely slide it, and I have used that for that purpose. Slide your sleeve stitches onto this, and it holds it really well. I just tie a little knot in it so that it doesn't come apart while I'm finishing knitting the body of my sweater. And you can pull it pretty tight and it'll still come out. Now that I'm on camera, it's going to be harder to do, but you don't want it to come undone while you're knitting the body of your sweater anyway. So, oops, it's loosening. I promise. So, you can use it for that purpose or any other time that you need to hold stitches in a pattern while you're making a pattern. The other reason, this is the reason that I purchased this to try, is to make it easier to try on sweaters as you knit them, specifically top-down sweaters, but bottom-up sweaters as well would work. Instead of using multiple needles to be able to get the stitches over my shoulders, you know what I'm saying, right? When you're knitting a top-down sweater, this is a top-down sweater. You get to, you finish your yoke and you want to try it on to make sure that the yoke depth is correct, is long enough before you get to your armhole. You have to slide it over your head, and then you have all these stitches that try to slide off of your needles. And maybe your needle cable length is narrower than your body is, and certainly it's always narrower than my shoulders. So you have to slide, portion of your stitches onto another needle so that you can slide it over your head and get it on to try. And so this just makes it really super easy. You just slide all of your stitches or half of your stitches, whatever you want to do, onto this and try it on. And then when you go to, just all you have to do is just slide them right back off of the tube onto your needle, and easy breezy. Try not to lose my stitches here. My biggest concern with this before purchasing was what if this little tube comes off my needle when I'm trying on my sweater and I, drop all of my stitches? That felt like a very valid concern, and I am very happy to report that I've never had that happen. And I've used this on, I don't know, maybe half a dozen sweaters now, 4 or 5 sweaters, maybe 6. And I've never had that happen. And I'll give it quite a tug, and it's not coming off. I really had to yank it to pull it off. So they stick on there really, really well. And of course I give it a good squish onto the tip of my needle. But it holds really, really well. You can find multiple brands making these as well. If you're a sweater knitter, I especially recommend having the sweater set on hand, which is the one that I have, I believe. I think it's called the clothing set. Yeah, it's called the clothing set. And this is the Blue U brand. It says theblueu.com. I checked out their website and it said they weren't open yet, but they must be in the process of switching maybe over from Etsy to their own site, because I did buy these off of Etsy. Those are just some extra stitch markers that I threw in there to hold. But this clothing set comes with it comes with 3 cords. One 60-inch cord and 2 30-inch cords as well, which are still in my little box here. I think the idea is that the smaller ones are for sleeves, holding those sleeve stitches as I mentioned, and the longer one is for holding your body stitches. So they come in all sorts of different fun colors, which is great. I just happened to end up with the pink ones. They are $11 plus shipping. They also have it's like an accessory set, so I'm not sure. They must have different lengths in them for the accessory set. And I'm not sure if the price is different on that one or not. I didn't check. But according to the product description, these cords should accommodate needles ranging in size from US 0 on up to US 15. And I have used them not for 15, but I have used them for probably up to 8 or 9, US 9. And they've worked great so far for me. Yeah, I love these things. If you're a sweater knitter, I highly recommend these. Okay, number 4. Okay, this is another product, knitting accessory that I have mentioned previously. This is the final one for today that I'm going to talk about. And if you primarily use circular needles like I do, I think you're going to appreciate having an organizer like this one. This is from 5 to 6 Handmade. She has, her name is Molly. She hand makes all of her knitting bags. All of her knitting bags and organizers. And she has an Etsy shop. I have 2 of her project bags actually. I'm going to show you one of them in a minute, but I also did a full review, YouTube review on this particular item. So I'll link that up. I'll put that up above for you if you're curious. But today I'll just show you a quick little overview. So To begin with, it is designed with just absolute exquisite. Molly's fabric choices are just gorgeous. So this is like a canvas, a lightweight canvas, very sturdy, and it's has magnetic snap closures to keep it closed. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. The sewing quality is impeccable. I've never had any stitches come undone. And you know, these magnetic snaps are pretty strong, and I have to give them a good pull, and I've never ripped the fabric or anything on this. I've had this for maybe 2 years now, and I just love it. Inside, you will find these really sturdy zip pouches, and there are 12 pouches in it. I don't think I have anything in the back ones. You can definitely tell that I default to to narrower gauge knitting needles, but it also came with this great little pre-made stickers, so you can label them so you know exactly where to find the size needle that you are looking for. And I have multiple needles in bags. You know, most of us, I think, have lots of needles even within the same size, because you need the different lengths. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sometimes I do still choke on my spit. So it folds up nice and compactly. It's a great size to be able to slide into a project bag if I'm knitting on the go and I know that I'm going to need more needles, and you know, maybe I'm swatching and I don't know exactly what size needle I need. Or if I'm going on a long vacation and I know that I'm going to be working on multiple projects, it's just handy to have. It is by far the best circular needle organizer that I have tried. I've tried a few different ones, and I just love how beautiful it is, how well it functions, and then again, I also really like that it's easy for me to slide into any project bag, and it looks beautiful sitting on my shelf in my craft room too, because I just slide it in there and it's like, oh, that's so pretty. It's like beautiful, beautiful fabric. So I believe I paid about $49 for this, and I think that included shipping. I tried to pull up Molly's shop on Etsy, and it's currently closed. She makes to order, so she opens her shop until she fills the time that she has available for sewing, making these bags. And like I mentioned, she makes other project bags too. And then she'll close her shop and she'll fill her orders and then reopen her shop for orders. That was redundant, but I'll link her shop because she is planning to reopen sometime in May. So her spots do sell out quickly. So I do recommend getting on her email list if you love this, because then she emails you and lets you know right when her shop reopens. So another handmade seller that I just absolutely love. She is another really great person, and her sewing and her business ethics are just wonderful. So I love being able to support her. Okay. Now, just for fun, I feel like I'm maybe running out of time here, but I don't know. Is there really any running out of time when you're talking about making a YouTube video? When you have sick kids at home, yes, you do. You do, like I do. So this was another bag from Molly's shop, 5 to 6 Handmade. This is the large project bag. And I thought it'd be fun just to take a peek inside to see what's inside my knitting bag. Probably a lot of common stuff that you already have in your knitting bag, but yeah. I just thought it'd be fun to look in anyway. I believe this is my my cord for my Loomis and Loomis to recharge it. I'm not sure why that would be in there otherwise. That wasn't something I was planning on showing. Okay. I always have some hand lotion on hand. This is Burt's Bees Shea Butter Hand Repair Cream. Not my absolute favorite, but what I have on hand in here. I also keep some lip balm handy as well, because that is always something when you're knitting. I always need chapstick and hand lotion. So I have those. This is where I store my highlighter tape. I don't use my highlighter tape super often. It's reusable sticky tape that you can highlight parts of your pattern that you're working on. So if I'm doing like a big chart, then I might use this to kind of highlight the row that I'm on, and then I'll shift it when I need to shift it. But I don't use it a super ton. I do use it sometimes, so I do keep it in my bag. Yeah, this is something that if I don't keep it in my bag, that I tend to forget where I put it. So I just keep it in there because it's a nice big bag, and I can. I have a full-size crochet hook for helping catch any stitches that I may drop. On occasion that does happen, or repairs you need to do on your knitting. And the other thing that I have is the knit kit. Have you seen these? They've been around a long time. This would have made my top list, but unfortunately it seems to be out of production, or it kind of goes in and out of production, so they can't always be found. So I didn't want to recommend this, but I'll just show you quickly. It has all sorts of different tools. It has a retractable measuring tape on it. It has a row counter, one of those clicker style that I mentioned. It has a tiny little crochet hook for helping you fix any mistakes with a larger hook, and as well as a smaller hook. Really a clever little design. This is a little, I'm not going to try to pull it out. This is like a little blade that's, I think, supposed to be for a quick yarn cutting, but I've never been able to pull it out very easily without breaking a fingernail, so I don't really use that, because on the back there's a needle gauge, and then the back opens up and there are small foldable scissors. We've all seen these before, right? And it also came with some stitch markers. These are different stitch markers that I have in here, but it's a little container for holding stitch markers. I believe it also came with needle caps, you know, the ends, the little rubbery silicone ends that you can put on the end of your needle so your stitches don't fall off. I don't really use those. They don't really work that well for me. I find that they fall off anyway. So I don't know where those are, but it did come with that. I think I only paid $20 for this, and if you can find them online, they're like, I think closer to $50 or maybe even more. So I don't know. That's not a must-have for me, although I do always have it in my bag, and that's probably just because of the scissors. But it's handy, and I thought I would show it anyway. So the other thing that I am not seeing in here is I do try to keep a nail file in here, because of course having snaggly fingernails while you're knitting is not very practical. So it's not in here at the moment, so I'll have to find another nail file and pop it in here. But okay, those were my indispensable knitting tools and accessories. I hope you found maybe one or two that you haven't tried before that are interesting for you to maybe check out. And let me know your favorites, because I'm always on the lookout for great knitting products. So if you have any favorites, please do let me. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I took it out because I was looking for my row counter earlier. This is a little tin. This is also from Twice Sheared Sheep, where I got my row counters from. And I showed it to you upside down, little bee. Dawn, the owner of the company, she actually paints these herself and then has them printed onto stickers and makes tins out of them for holding stitch markers. So I always have I have like a darning needle in there, and I have stitch markers, and I usually keep my extra row counter. I have a few of these little tins, so this particular one doesn't have an extra row counter in it, but I always keep that handy in my knitting bag as well. So along with my knitting project, which I briefly showed you, and I don't think I told you what I was working on. It's a new, I don't think it's a very new pattern, but it's a new to me sweater, top down fingering weight sweater. It is Leia maybe, by Isabel Kramer. It's this beautiful tee. We'll call it a tee. And I'm using Noro Sonata, which is a cotton blend. I've never used any Noro yarn before, and my yarn shop had this beautiful deep blue, which speaks to me. So I thought I would give it a try, especially for a cotton tee, lightweight cotton tee. I thought it would be fun to make for summer. So, yeah, that's all I have for you. I almost forgot to share that. Thank you for watching today. If you want to check out my selection of naturally dyed US yarn, I'll include the link to Henlia Handmade down below. And if you are new to Henlia Handmade, I would like to give you a 20% off discount code. So I'll put the link for that down below as well. And lastly, if you are looking to join the kindest, most friendly group of knitters, I'd love for you to join the Knit Mini Together community. It's only $5, and it helps keep Henlia Handmade running and helps me continue producing videos like this one. So I'll link that down below as well. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing. Those two free things really help my shop gain visibility and potentially grow. So thank you so much for doing that, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderfully woolly day.